How are we doing today? Happy Tuesday, and it's Throat Chakra week, Throat Chakra day. So that's amazing. So yesterday I talked about on my last video about tip number 1 with the throat chakra, and it's about finding your truth. And a lot of trust comes in that process. And so now what I want to talk to you guys about is how to be living your soul's truth. From the very get-go, we're fed so much information coming into earth, right? As soon as we're born, so much information, even in our mother's womb, we're receiving that, our mother's belief systems, our father's belief systems. We are receiving a lot. And so on this journey, depending upon our experiences, traumas that we go through, blessings that we go through, so many different aspects can really shatter how we live our truth. And so the tip that I want to share with you today on how to be living your truth is, yesterday I talked about trusting your decisions, but living your truth, and being that it's the throat chakra, it has a lot to do with our communication to source, and that source within ourselves and our connection. And this center is our spiritual connection, and so it's our voice. I had a really powerful download actually it was like a week ago, that singing is a way for us to experience our own energy, and same thing with talking and having conversation is a way for you to experience your own energy through your voice. The voice is very, very beautiful. And so having conversations with yourself and working through your thought process and tuning into and asking questions is such a beautiful way to start aligning to be living our soul's truth, is by asking ourselves question: how can I live my soul's truth more every day? What practices can I do? And just asking these questions, even just writing them down and just waiting to see what comes to you. There is a psychological aspect that is in this process, which is activating the frontal lobe of our brain, and it gets the fires ticking. Like your brain, your circuits are going to go looking for answers to your question. So on the psychological aspect, but then on an energetic spiritual aspect, you're opening up perspective for the universe to come in and answer your questions. and how amazing is that? If we can call this synchronicity, perhaps you've heard that term, where you're seeing signs, and there's signs everywhere for us at all times, and it's just whether or not we're aware of it. And so living our soul's truth really starts with surrendering. It really starts with surrendering to the moment. To the moment, my friends. And when we're able to surrender to the moment, there is a level of acceptance that is required to really surrender. So even in the midst of crisis, in the midst of chaos, it's easy to trust the process and like surrender when things are good, right? You can just lay down on your couch and it's just, things are so good, right? But it's another thing to be in that space when you're going through some changes, you're going through some transitions within and around you, right? So, change for humans it's stressful, but it's not necessarily bad stress, right? It's just our body's way of responding to change. And so surrendering to the moment. Hello, Marcia. Thank you for coming on. Surrendering to the moment, there's a level of acceptance. So this means working with the appreciation. I listened to Ram Dass yesterday, and he was talking about, oh, I love you, darling. He was talking about loving yourself, and how to love yourself begins with appreciation, really. It starts with the surrendering and the acceptance, but how do we really accept? Well, we can accept through appreciation. So appreciating what's currently in front of you in your reality, the people that you have in your life. This is why gratitude practices have been scientifically proven to help your emotional, your mental, and your physical state of being. Having a daily gratitude practice, waking up first thing in the morning, what I love doing is just automatically thinking about how wonderful my life is. Like, whoa, what a gift. I just woke up and I'm here. I'm here experiencing life. And so the more that we can work with this, and even if you're not quite there, perhaps if you've been going through suicide, if you've been going through depression, anxiety, it's kind of hard. It's not authentic for you to wake up and, I love myself, I love my life, I'm grateful for everything, right? The number one thing here is being authentic to you. You have to be authentic to yourself. When we're not being authentic, then we're just getting further and further away from the truth, right? So we have to acknowledge and just become aware of what we are feeling in this moment and accepting it. This is how I'm feeling right now, and that's okay. Feelings do pass, emotions do pass, right? And so how to be living your truth, the surrendering to the moment through acceptance of this moment and all that it entails, through finding appreciation in this moment for something, even if it's the sunlight and how it heals, even if it's just the tree, even if it's just your animal, even if it's a memory. Just tuning into a memory of when you really felt good is a great way to bring yourself back to that state, that essence that you are. It's beautiful. And also, I want to touch on the trust aspect, because yesterday I talked about trusting your own decisions, right? Because we've been trained to look to someone else to make decisions for us. Our parents taking care of us, our education systems, our workplace. There's a lot of outward projection and like putting power outside of ourselves, right? So a way to resolve this is through trusting yourself, but also trusting in something bigger than you. So no matter what you are at spiritually or what you believe in, if you have a religion that you believe in, a certain type of faith, whatever it is, spirituality, just source, God, love, whatever that is for you, trusting in that source to provide you with what you need, and that trusting the people that are coming into your life, the fact that you're watching this video right now for a purpose. So actually tuning in and like, I find it interesting, my impulses, even such as marketing as a business owner. If I'm on Facebook, just checking out the social medias, if I find an ad, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And if I actually click on it, that's a cue for me to really tune into, because I don't just go and click on ads. So they're finding more and more meaning in those like things that you don't really think about. You're just like, oh, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I didn't even like think about that. And now I'm reading this, and now I'm like having these new perspectives. So finding meaning and finding purpose is a way for us to live our truth in everything, you guys. This means even the washing of dishes. The small things really do count, and it builds momentum over time when we're able to find appreciation in all the little things. Just because a meditation wasn't like, oh my God, over the top enlightenment compared to a previous meditation, still the tuning in and the silencing and the stillness that you develop it's so good for your body, even on a physical level, just allowing your body to change to an alpha brainwave, to a theta even, and then your body starts healing itself. This is why meditation is so important. And then we're not getting caught up in these stories, and eventually they just unravel themselves. And doing this healing work and looking within ourselves and our behavior, we learn more about ourselves. You know, some people might say you don't really need to dive into your pain. I believe there's a lot of power and purpose into going down to the roots of what a trigger is coming from. And then I'm able to tap into my truth more as I am cleansing. If I'm not feeling good and I'm diving into why I'm not feeling good, I learn more about myself, and I really appreciate that. Because we're all human, right? It's not about being perfect, being 100% golden all the time, when in fact you're always golden, but it just might not feel that way because your body's catching up with your new level, your higher frequency that we are all experiencing. People are having mass awakenings every single day, you guys, every single day. And so being patient with this process, it can, especially when you open those upper chakras, it can be over the top sometimes. I absolutely understand that. And so finding just appreciation in the little things is another way to help you to be living your truth. And so if you've had some silencing of your throat, you struggle with communication, you struggle with even identifying your own truth, the voice within, the feeling, then definitely come and join us on Patreon tomorrow. We're going to be doing a beautiful healing session as a group on my Patreon. I put the link on this video for our throat. And then you will also get access to all the previous healings for all the other chakras as well as we work up this scale of our points. So yeah, I love you guys so much. Happy Throat Chakra week, and just continue bringing awareness to how you're communicating to yourself. You know, I even recognized the other day, my girlfriend Paulette was like, and I was like, come on, Vanessa, like, don't be lazy, get to work, you know, and was just kind of being mean to myself. And before, I didn't really see that as a problem because I was like, oh, you know, I'm just like, you know, being disciplined and focused, you know, what's wrong with that? But the way that I was talking to myself wasn't gentle, and I didn't realize how much pressure that was actually putting on myself. It was coming from a subconscious program that, like, I always need to be working. If I'm not working, if I'm not productive, then I'm not worth anything. Then I'm going to lose everything. I mean, it was totally fear-based to be like putting myself down like that. And so this is just one example of how observing your own human behavior, you can learn more about yourself. And you guys, yes, that's the fun part, but the even more fun part to this is then you can help others. As you learn your own psychology, your own spiritual psychology, the energetics of you, you're able to understand other people more. And that's what I want to help you tap into. And we're going to be doing that on Patreon. So go ahead and come and join us. We have our men's mastermind launching today. If you're interested in that as well, it's free for the first month. So just hit me up or put a comment in if you're looking to join us today. We'll be diving into root chakra healing, security in self, finances, fears, all of that jazzy good stuff. So I love you guys so much. Namaste, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Goop.